Okay, now it's time for a crypto market update. Since yesterday we saw weekly candle closes for all of crypto, so I'm going to just take a look today at the total crypto market cap. Going to take a look at the others chart, which is excluding the top 10, and Bitcoin and Ethereum, just to see if things are going to have a continuation higher or if things are going to cool off again and continue to trend a little bit lower before they take off again. So, first, we're going to look at the total crypto market cap on the weekly chart, and I have everything on log scale. So since it's on log scale, it'll look a little bit different than linear scale, but the trends are going to be the same, and the support levels are also basically similar. So on this chart, I got my Gann square pulled up. I got my Ichimoku there pulled up. And we can see that support held on log scale almost perfectly back here in early July. And essentially, since then, we had a 9% weekly candle, then a 10, 11% weekly candle, and now this is the new week. So the new week could consolidate a little bit down back to this conversion line here, and then test that again to confirm it as support and then go higher. And currently, the total crypto market cap's around 2.4 trillion, and that conversion line sits around 2.25 trillion, which means there is some range here that the total crypto market cap could go before it breaks out higher. So even if there is like a down week on a red candle, it's nothing bearish at all because the last 2 weeks it did break above a lot of things and support held perfectly. So this is a great look for a possible mini consolidation until it tries to break these previous candles and go higher and higher. And again, where is the height that I expect the total crypto market cap to go this cycle? Well, the total crypto cap, I'm looking for at least 45 trillion, the next level. You can see, let me just take off the Ichimoku here. You can see things more clearly. You can see that blue level held perfectly as a support, right? It came back down here a little bit, but then this resistance flipped it back to support, and now we're on the top side of that arc. When you look to the past, we have never really been on the top side to confirm it as support. Only a few weeks went above it, but it never confirmed it as support. But now this looks like we just had that confirmation right there with this candle and that candle confirming this arc again as support. So that means price should continue higher and higher and higher until we get to that $45 trillion market cap. Seems a little crazy, right? But no, this is not crazy. This is what really happens when we hold support, right? You can see it before with this orange arc. We saw it here before where it was testing this arc, even back during COVID. It went down a little bit and then it rode this angle up as resistance. But right here is where things really confirm this arc as support. And look at that. Look at what kind of move that was that arc, from that arc to the bottom right here. Let me just take off my magnet. From that bottom arc right here to the top of that run was about 1,162%. And that really only happened in about a little more than a year, from June 2020 to November 2021, right? That was a pretty explosive move for the total crypto cap once that arc flipped to support. So let's just say it does something similar, like a little bit over 1,000%. Well, we'll go from the bottom here where that support was found, and we'll go to 1,000. So even if it's only 1,000, maybe 100%, like we saw there, that's still a 25 trillion market cap, right? So that's still pretty significant, and that's nothing to sneeze at. So anywhere from 25 trillion up to 45 trillion, I think is a good price for the total crypto market cap to get to by the end of this cycle. That's a really big increase, right? So things are looking good. This arc is flipping to support, looking great. So now let's check out the others. And the others chart looks almost identical, except for the fact that back here, it did break above this arc a lot more than the total crypto market cap back in the past, right? So it had a little bit more of an explosive move. above the arc, but it never held it as support until really now, right? We can see what happened exactly. That blue level, also very important. We can see that it exploded up, came back down and retested it, even almost retested this blue level. But now we're on the top side of that arc again. It looks like this is the bottom. And if things can continue higher, then the others chart has the potential to go up to 14, maybe 15 trillion from this zone by the end of this cycle. And remember, this is excluding the top 10, excluding Bitcoin, it's excluding XRP, all the stable coins and whatnot, right? So this is really giving an idea of the altcoins, but it looks a little bit different than the total when you add on the Ichimoku. You can see clearly that it's still stuck under the resistance of the baseline right there, which is why a lot of altcoins are still underperforming the market. We need to see candles of the others chart eventually close above that baseline right there in order to continue higher and higher and higher. So it's a good thing we found support. It even tested the top of the cloud right there, very bullish, but we can still see there is some resistance above, a little more resistance than the total crypto market cap. So it's just going to be more patience. I think once Bitcoin breaks out a little more, then the rest of the altcoins will catch up and they will also break out afterwards. So that's really a common theme in crypto. Bitcoin usually always leads the way and the altcoins slowly follow. And speaking of Bitcoin, here's the Bitcoin chart on log scale. And the same situation happened. It got back above the green level last week with that big 12% bullish engulfing candle. And now it's back above that support after dipping below just for a couple of weeks. So this is a great development. This also means that this 62,500 level should be a great support. So even if price did go back down to test it, it would not be a bearish scenario at all. And when we add the Ichimoku on here, we can see that it even closed back above the conversion line and the baseline was support exactly. So great development, but you can see compared to the others chart, the Bitcoin chart is above all indicators of the Ichimoku cloud. But the others chart is still under the baseline of the Ichimoku. So you can see the difference of the two charts. You can see why this chart looks ready to break out before a lot of the altcoins, which is a great development. And I expect that this chart now is almost ready to continue higher. And we might need to come back and backtest some levels. If we turn on the 821 EMA, we can see the 8 sits around 63,803. So it could maybe come back down to 64,000, possibly to retest a support zone and then continue higher. So we're not ready to break out yet. I think a weekly candle close above this 71,000, maybe 72,000 will get us started, right? And again, when we zoom out on the Bitcoin price chart, we can see clearly the next level is going to be the 3.618, around 250,000. So I expect that to hit because I think I talked about this before. Let me just take off these indicators. I talked about this before. Look at how well price has been holding these Fibonacci levels, right? Going in the past right here, we can see that it held this 2.272 perfectly as support. This 2.618 was also very important support and a resistance. And now price is going up back to the 3.618, and that should gravitate towards this zone. So I think this should be a minimum price target for Bitcoin this cycle, around 250,000, just because it's proven that these Fibonacci's are magnets for price. And now that price has already flipped this 2.618 to support, it's only going to gravitate higher and higher to that zone. And if we turn back on our GAN, we can see that the full 4.236 extension sits up here where the arcs are maybe in 2026. So it's even possible to get up to 870,000, 900,000 by 2026. And that would be a great development. And then ultimately, since you see this level was perfect, this green level, right here. So perfect, we can see that the next level does indeed sit around $2 million, maybe 1.9 million for the max cycle top, right? So this is a very big range from anywhere from 250,000 all the way up to 2 million could be the range for the cycle top for Bitcoin. And so we just need to take it one level at a time. And the first level is going to be this 3.618. And once that gets hit, it could consolidate a little bit, go down a little bit before it's ready to go higher and higher. But ultimately, I believe it will get to these arcs and it will get to this level up here. It's just a matter of time. And next we have Ethereum on the log scale chart. And we can see this level right here was hit perfectly as well. The green level, it was a resistance, and now it flipped to a support after a successful backtest of that arc right here. And now price is just right here gravitating towards this angle, gravitating towards these arcs above. And where do these arcs above sit? Well, maybe around 6,000, maybe 6,200 or so, depending on time. Could be all the way up to 7,000, or the top one's even 10,000. So this will be the shorter term price target. And if we zoom out a little more, we can see the next level indeed does sit here around $20,000 per Ethereum. So since this level was hit perfectly, I believe eventually over time, price will get to that $20,000 level. It's just going to take some time. And now let's put on our Fibonacci just to see a little bit more confluence of the extension levels with these GAN arcs and angles. And now with the Fibonacci back on, from the 2018 high down to that low down here, we can see that it held that 1.272 Fibonacci around $3,000 perfectly. And now price is going to gravitate to the 1.414 around 4,600. And then the next level does indeed sit at 8288, which is lining up kind of perfectly with these arcs right here. And if it got to that level in time, it would be maybe December of 2025 or 2026 early, right? So that could be a possibility, but we could see an explosive move much higher, much sooner. So we'll keep an eye on this, but these Fibonacci's do line up perfectly. So the next level is 4,600, then 8288, and then after that, we can go see the next level does indeed at the 2.272, it sits at 53,000. But all right, let's not get ahead of ourselves, right? Because we still have this level, which should be a big resistance before price even carries on. So I think the ultimate cycle top will probably be around 20,000 before more consolidation happens, before it works on these higher Fibonacci extension levels, right? Just because we can see right here, that level was a perfect resistance for a cycle top, right? That 1300, and then it just crashed and then came back up. So we can probably see something similar here where there's some resistance levels on the way up to 20,000. But once it hits that $20,000 level, there could be a big correction before price continues higher and higher. So the bottom line with all these charts, total crypto market cap, Bitcoin, they look fantastic, right? They look like maybe they can consolidate a little bit longer. But the others chart and maybe the Ethereum chart also looks like they could consolidate a little more. And even if you put on the Ichimoku here with that Ethereum chart, you can see that it looks better than the others chart where it's above the conversion line and ready to go higher. So perhaps the others chart, the other altcoins are going to follow Ethereum. So like once Ethereum breaks to this 1.414, I think the rest of the altcoins will follow. So it's just a matter of time. And all of these charts look great for a continuation. It's just going to require a little more patience for these explosive moves to happen.